You're working hard, right? I mean, you're putting in the hours trying to keep up with everything, the articles, the feeds, just all of it. But if you're anything like me, trying to navigate, the sheer speed of 2025, there are definitely moments you just feel stuck.
Yeah, like you're running on old software.
Exactly. Like your personal operating system is, I don't know, on dial-up while the world's on fiber optic. And it's not that you're not trying hard enough. The thing is, our default wiring, it was kind of built for a different era. It's just not cutting it anymore. And right now, 2025, if you don't consciously choose to upgrade that internal software, you're not just treading water, you're actually falling behind. Fast.
That feeling is so common right now. Being overwhelmed, feeling like your gut instincts are maybe misaligned with what's actually happening. The ground has shifted so much.
It really has. And, well, that's pretty much at the heart of this deep dive. We're looking at Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power, but maybe not how you'd expect.
Right, not just as a historical text or some kind of, manipulation playbook.
Exactly. The wisdom in there is potent, no doubt. But maybe its most urgent use today, in 2025, isn't about outplaying others externally. It's about taking those timeless principles and using them as a blueprint to fundamentally rewire your own brain for the world we actually live in.
It's a really interesting lens, isn't it? Taking laws usually aimed at social strategy and turning them inwards. How do they help us upgrade our own mindset, our kind of automatic responses?
Precisely. So welcome, everyone, to this deep dive. Our source material today really explores Greene's laws exactly through that lens. Not rules for dealing with others, but protocols for your own internal operating system.
Yeah.
Our mission here is to pull out the practical stuff, the actionable steps, the actual brain rewiring protocols that you can literally start using today.
So by the end, the idea is you'll have some concrete strategies.
Yeah. To reprogram your focus, like for building quietly, to upgrade your identity so you're more adaptable, to hardwire decisiveness, take bold action, and also, crucially, fortify your digital presence because, wow, that's important now.
Think of it like installing new firmware.
Yeah.
For 2025, it's really about embodying these principles, living them, not just knowing them on an intellectual level.
Totally. Okay, so let's dig in. We're going to look at 4 specific laws and kind of frame them as these essential mental upgrades. And the first one, wow, it feels incredibly relevant with, everything being online now.
Yeah, taking a law that, let's be honest, can sound a bit sneaky on the surface, and reframing it as a way to find more internal power, that's quite a flip.
It is. So our first rewire is based on Law 3. Conceal your intentions. We're framing this as the stealth mode rewire. Work in silence, win in public.
And the sources we looked at really emphasize why this is so critical right now in 2025. I mean, the pressure, the constant visibility, this whole build in public thing.
Oh, it's intense.
Yeah, driven by social media, the creator economy, it's just everywhere.
And you see it, right? Every little idea, every tiny step gets broadcast immediately. But Greene's principle, when you apply it internally, shows the downside. Constantly announcing what you plan to do. It dilutes your focus.
And it opens you up to all sorts of feedback way too early, stuff that can knock you off course before you've even really gotten started.
Totally. And there's a psychological thing too, right? You get that little hit, that like mini dose of dopamine.
Yeah.
Just from talking about the work. So your brain feels rewarded for the announcement, not the actual achievement.
Exactly. It tricks you. You feel productive, but you haven't actually, done the deep work yet.
Oh, that one hits home for sure. Okay, so how do we use this law to actually rewire that impulse? The source suggests a specific action plan for programming stealth mode execution.
Okay.
First up, something called the 7-day deep work 0 announces sprint. The idea is pick one project that really matters to you. And for one solid week, you tell absolutely nobody who doesn't strictly need to know.
Right. No social posts, no casual mentions at lunch, just pure heads down work.
Exactly. And the point isn't just being secretive for the sake of it. It's about experiencing that shift the source talks about, feeling the power that comes from internal motivation when you cut off that external validation loop just for a bit.
It trains your brain to actually value the process, the progress itself, not just the applause.
Right. And then the second part of this rewire, the reveal results, not roadmaps protocol. This is about consciously training your brain to associate sharing with completion.
Ah, okay. So you share when something's done, not when it's just an idea.
Yeah. When you do talk about it, you focus on what you finished, the milestone you hit, the thing you launched, not the messy day-to-day struggle of week 2.
So your internal script changes. It becomes something like, okay, my value is in delivering, and then I declare. It flips that dopamine switch we talked about, right? Rewards the completed cycle.
Exactly. And look at the examples the source uses. Think about all those projects. Huge announcements, big fanfare, then poof, they vanish.
Happens all the time.
Compare that to, say, Elon Musk dropping a surprise product, or maybe a bootstrapped founder who works quietly for a year, builds something really solid, and then emerges seemingly out of nowhere with something polished and actually working.
They didn't telegraph every move. They just landed the punch.
Yes, that's law 3, but used as this powerful internal rewire for making a real impact in 2025.
That focus on quiet execution,
Yeah.
wow, it really does feel like a kind of superpower in today's world. Okay, so let's move to the next rewire. This one's critical too, all about shaping who you are when everything's changing so fast.
This next one couldn't be more timely, I think. It's based on Law 25, recreate yourself. We're calling this the Identity OS upgrade. Rewire yourself for 2025 realities.
The urgency here is that you can feel it, right? AI is shifting entire industries. The gig economy means you need to be versatile. Your personal brand is often your main currency now.
Absolutely. And if you're clinging too tightly to an identity tied to one specific role, maybe a role that's becoming outdated, you're making yourself incredibly vulnerable.
Yeah. Being stuck in that loop of, I'm just a, whatever your old job title was.
Yeah.
It blinds you to new opportunities, stops you from pivoting.
It's like the source's analogy. Being a master craftsman of horse-drawn carriages right when the Ford Model T starts rolling off the assembly line, you see the change, but your whole sense of self is anchored in the past.
Greene's law here is about actively, consciously sculpting your identity, not just letting it happen to you.
So how do we actually install this Identity OS v Taught 2025? The action plan here has 2 key parts. First, future self-embodiment journaling.
Okay, what does that entail?
Just 5 minutes a day. But instead of writing about your goals, you write as the person who's already achieved that next level.
I see. So not I want to be, but I am.
Exactly. I am a sought-after consultant helping businesses navigate AI, or I run a thriving, adaptable online community. You're using language to literally build the neural pathways for that future identity right now.
So it's more than just positive thinking. It's actively training your brain to operate from that state of being.
Precisely. Then the second module is the skill stack reinvention. This is super practical. Identify one skill you have that's maybe fading in relevance, perhaps because of automation. Then identify one emerging 2025 skill. Could be anything relevant to where you want to go, prompt engineering, maybe understanding decentralized tech, building virtual communities.
AI ethics, yeah. Lots of possibilities.
Right, and then you dedicate just 30 focus minutes every day to actively learning and practicing that new skill.
So it's a deliberate daily action, expanding who you are by what you can do, building the bricks of that new identity through consistent effort.
Yeah. Look at someone like Alex Hormozy, who the source mentions. Think about his journey. Gym owner, then scaling expert, now a huge content and media figure.
Right. He didn't let one success define him or limit him. He actively shed old skins and built new ones. That kind of fluidity, that willingness to consciously recreate yourself, it feels essential for 2025.
That really resonates. Okay, so you've got this more fluid 2025 ready identity brewing, but then you actually need to act on it. And that can be the hard part for a lot of us.
Which brings us neatly to Law 28. Enter action with boldness. This is about activating your boldness biocircuit, rewiring for decisive action in the age of AI.
Why is this so critical right now? Well, because in 2025, honestly, analysis paralysis, it's deadly.
Right.
While you're stuck debating, researching every angle, waiting for the perfect moment, someone else using the exact same AI tools you have access to is already out there launching something, testing it, learning from it.
The window of opportunity just opens and closes so much faster now. That natural hesitation, that caution your brain defaults to, it gets amplified by overthinking, and it just keeps you stuck on the sidelines.
It really does. Greene's law is like a direct command against that internal drag.
So how do we rewire for that? The action plan here for installing the decisive execution protocol, it's powerful because it tries to bypass that overthinking loop entirely.
I'm intrigued.
It starts with the 5-second C's mandate. The idea is, the moment an idea pops into your head, or, a task needs doing, you have exactly 5 seconds.
5 seconds. To do what?
To take a physical action towards. Open the document, type the first sentence of that email, pick up the phone, anything concrete before your brain's safety committee starts yelling all the reasons why you shouldn't.
The safety committee, I know that one well. So it's like using a physical trigger to short-circuit the hesitation.
Precisely. It's a direct application of Greene's point.
Yeah.
Hesitation creates gaps. Boldness obliterates them. You're obliterating that gap before it even fully forms.
I like that. Okay, what's the second part?
The second part is the minimum viable bold move, MVBM. The idea here is don't wait until you feel ready for some huge, terrifying leap. Identify the smallest possible bold action that actually moves you forward on something.
Smallest possible, like what?
Could be as simple as just announcing you're thinking about a new project, maybe to one trusted person, or offering just one pre-sale spot for a new service, even if it feels unfinished.
Ah, okay. So it trains your brain that taking action, even action that feels a bit scary or imperfect, it gets rewarded with momentum and real feedback, not, instant disaster.
Exactly. It builds a positive feedback loop for boldness instead of reinforcing hesitation.
Think about the early adopters of generative AI tools. While so many were still debating the ethics or waiting for it all to mature, these people just started building things.
Yeah, I jumped in.
They embraced that rapid, intelligent, maybe imperfect action. That's the kind of boldness that grabs opportunities in 2025. And it's something you can actually rewire your brain to do more often.
Momentum really is key right now. Okay, so we've rebuilt identity, we've hardwired boldness, but you also need to protect yourself in this, let's face it, very exposed digital world.
Absolutely. Which brings us to maybe your most vulnerable asset today. This is Law 5. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. We're talking about building your reputation fortress. Rewire your digital presence for unshakable trust.
Wow. Has this law ever felt more urgent than it does right now in 2025? I mean, we live under this constant digital microscope.
Totally.
Your online reputation, it's not just a nice to have anymore. It basically is your primary business asset. It's your brand's immune system.
And it's so fragile. One badly worded tweet from years ago, maybe an old photo taken totally out of context, or now even an AI-generated deepfake, boom, immense damage, instantly.
Trust is just incredibly fragile online. So Greene's law forces you to think proactively. It's about building a reputation architecture, not just scrambling for damage control after something hits the fan.
Right, being offensive, not just defensive. So what's the action plan for installing this Reputation Shield OS?
It starts with something practical.
Right.
The quarterly digital aura audit. Actively search for yourself, your brand name across Google, social media, everywhere. What's the story being told? Are there potential weak spots? Places where something could be twisted?
And then you actually address those things. Quickly, transparently. This isn't about vanity, it's like essential strategic defense. Especially when context collapses online and stuff spreads like wildfire.
Exactly. And the second piece is the consistent value contribution framework. This means making it a non-negotiable routine, maybe weekly, maybe bi-weekly, whatever works to publish or share content that consistently demonstrates your expertise, your integrity, the genuine value you offer.
Ah, so you're building this positive baseline, a strong narrative around your name.
Precisely. It acts as a buffer. If something negative does pop up, there's already this large body of positive work and value associated with you. You're effectively inoculating your reputation against future attacks by building that positive equity consistently.
That makes sense. The source mentions people like Brené Brown, right?
Yeah.
Our reputation is built on years and years of consistent, authentic research, vulnerable sharing.
Right. That fortress is strong because she built it proactively, brick by brick, with value. Compare that to careers that suddenly crumbled because their digital footprint was messy or neglected or inconsistent.
Yeah, it's stark. In 2025, your Google search results, they really are your global resume and your character reference, all rolled into one.
Scary, but true.
Okay, wow. So wrapping this all up.
It's really easy to feel like, you're falling behind, or maybe something's fundamentally wrong with you. But the truth might just be simpler. You might just be wired for a game that's already over.
And Robert Greene's laws, yeah, they offer these timeless principles for navigating power dynamics. But maybe in 2025, their most profound, most actionable power comes from applying them internally.
Yeah. It's about consciously, intentionally deciding to rewire your brain, upgrade your identity, reprogram your core way of operating for the realities we actually face today.
So instead of just feeling swept along by the chaos and speed of 2025.
Right. By proactively architecting your internal framework using these kinds of principles, you put yourself in a position not just to cope, but to actually thrive. The people who are going to lead and really succeed in this next chapter, they're the ones willing to do this internal upgrade work.
So here's the final thought I really want to leave you with today. Out of these 4 rewiring protocols we talked about, going stealth, upgrading identity, activating boldness, or fortifying reputation, which one feels like it resonates the most powerfully with you right now. Which single action plan feels like the most important place for you to start? Just pick one. Don't try to do everything at once, just one.
Yeah, focus is key.
And take that first small step towards that rewire today, or maybe this week. Your 2025 self, the one who's navigating this new world with more clarity, more power, more resilience. They will absolutely thank you for starting now.
Choose that one internal upgrade and begin the installation.
Think about how you can implement just that one strategy starting this week. That's the real takeaway from this deep dive, right?
Turning the insight into actual action.
Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.